So I want to share about anger and how to redirect anger and to get a breakthrough. Because I think a lot of us are feeling that given, let's say, the current geopolitical climate, given a lot of the unknowns that we're facing. Spoke to somebody yesterday about facing just this the energy was desperation in terms of income. And so what do we do in the face of these very strong emotions? Well, on the level of consciousness scale, if we refer to David Hawking's levels of consciousness, maybe I'll do a recording on that later because it's one of my favorite topics. To me, this is everything that we experience day in, day out. And anger is higher on the level of consciousness than, say, shame or guilt. Then you can kind of verify that for yourself. The times where you are in, let's say, a depressed mood or state, there's very little energy to work with. The motivation is not there. Doing the simplest things feel like climbing a mountain. Where that starts to shift is where anger enters the picture. And it's a healthier state in comparison because you can do more with anger. Anger provides fuel for action. Allowing yourself to move through anger is a necessary step. That's one of the things. On the levels of consciousness, you really can't bypass any step in general. Meaning, mastering every level of consciousness is a part of the process. Because let's say if you jump over from anger and then you get appeased or something happens, and then you start to move into the, okay, I feel better about myself phase and things don't look as grim or bleak. The thing is if that particular anger is not processed and owned, it's going to reside in the body. It's going to have an energetic weight to it. And it's likely that a future occurrence, you'll actually draw in events, people, situations that will tap into that anger because it acts like a magnet. And then that's how you can get really triggered very easily, whether you're aware of it or not. And so allowing yourself to feel the anger, like literally allow yourself to feel it. And even allow yourself to feel how alive you feel through that anger. Because it's likely that some form of boundary or value is being crossed. And so when you can allow yourself to feel it and acknowledge it, you can actually tap into what is it saying? What is it telling you? And so the next time you find yourself getting angry, I invite you, if you have the opportunity, to pause, to feel it fully. Because here's the other trick, and I learned this from Paget Kagi. Allowing ourselves to feel an emotion fully as it's coming up not only transmutes it, but it actually initiates the process of releasing similar emotions layer by layer. And I don't think it happens in a linear fashion. I think there's some thread energetically. You transmute one emotion, anger, jealousy, fear, rage, you name it. And you start to actually shift the patterns of the energies, the lower vibrational energies that you are experiencing on a day-to-day basis. Feeling the energy. And it's as simple as, like, if you have the chance, close your eyes, and with minimizing any kind of story coming from the head, tap right into what that feels like in the body. Because you're likely going to feel something coming up in the body. It might be like a tightness in the stomach, a heaviness or a clenching in the chest, some kind of ache or weight in the shoulders. And then as you're identifying where it shows up in the body, go in and feel it fully. Sit with the feeling and keep feeling it, minimizing the story. And then the wildest thing starts to happen. It starts to dissipate on its own. No mindset stuff, no internal dialogue needed, just pure presence with the feeling. It's epic. For me, it was a real game changer last year, about a year ago, when I learned about this. And it was the first time I was actually able to start to really feel my emotions without spinning into overthinking, without resorting to try to do some technique to get away from the feeling because I didn't like the way it felt. I really started to get our feelings are telling us something. And the more we pay attention to the feelings that are coming up, the more we're actually learning more about how our mind works, how we perceive things, the underlying beliefs that are taking place. And I can go into that further in another video. So going back to anger and transmuting it. Anger is a potent form of energy. It's the energy that revolutions are born from. The sense of, like, oh, we've had enough of this. And the momentum builds up so much that people are galvanized to take action and to take a stand. And you can do this in your own life. And so I'm curious, the next time you feel anger, what do you think it's telling you? And how can you use it as fuel to redirect that energy into something that honors you? So you feel it. You ask it, what are you trying to show me? And then afterwards, if you take the stand that I accept the current situation that I'm in and that I'm facing that has caused this anger, because you can fight it. But whenever we fight something and we wish it were different, in the moment, we actually remove a key core. We remove our agency in doing something about it because we're still trying to resist it and pretend that it's not there. And that's not what I'm talking about. Real power comes in when you say, I accept this because I am the creator of my experience. What can I do about it? And then you start to move into solution mode. I will say that's that flip, going into acceptance and taking responsibility for the experience that you're having. is that is the moment of when you're really tapping into your power. Because you can stay angry and you can stay justified, but it's going to keep you stuck and bottled into this kind of dichotomy of me versus them, of me versus the situation, me versus the person, which can perpetuate this fight for eons. But when you accept a situation and you ask yourself, what can I do about it? What do I want to do about it? What's a potential solution here? What is this showing me that is actually for my higher good? It's in service to me. This also came up for me personally. Oh my goodness, this morning. So I have the honor of being a part of a business. And I kept noticing that like I was getting angry a lot. I'm like sheepishly, I was getting really angry a lot. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Like my head wanted to tell me it was because of a particular member. But I'm really owning that everything I experience is if I'm creating it. So why am I creating this angry experience? And then it reminded me of just some past stuff that I used to experience in the corporate arena where I felt I didn't have a voice to fully speak and contribute and share because of, let's say, my particular role, because of the particular culture. And so I was bringing that baggage forward because this group has not been operating like that. They've been asking me to share my voice. And yet when the moment would come, sometimes I would phrase up. And I'm sitting there going like, you're a freaking coach. Like, what is this shit? You know? And this morning we had a group session. The way that for me, this energy being redirected showed up in the form of allowing myself to be wrong and being open-minded enough to see the other side, to see what this other member has been communicating. And it was amazing because I really started to see the potential of this particular, let's say, strategy. And it required me opening up my perception, allowing myself to be wrong, to be proved otherwise.
All right, I hope all of that came through with my earbuds. My friend Patrick's going to get mad at me. um, so I'll end on that note, specifically that all energy serves a purpose. It's a matter of understanding how to use it, how to embrace it, how to allow for it, starting with feeling it, accepting it, and asking yourself what you'd like to do with it. Because at the core of who we are creative beings. At the core essence of who we are, we have the ability to create anything. And we can use that creative power to turn any situation, any challenge, anything into gold, into a gift. into something that propels you rather than stops you. My name is Mina Hisami. I'm a transformational coach and intuitive hypnotherapist. If you like what I'm sharing, I invite you to follow, subscribe. And if you're interested in working with me, you can reach out and book a free consultation going to minahisami.com.